Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm going to show you a quick, easy little recipe. I'm going to be stuffing some Cornish hens. So if you don't know, a Cornish hen is basically just a young chicken. They bred them to be small, but then they butcher them at a very young age. So it makes them pretty tender. And this is generally about the size of one. You can see they're pretty small. I also have my smoker already preheating to 225. So they're basically going to be stuffed Cornish hens, and they're going to be smoked. You can stuff them with anything you want to, really. Doesn't really matter. Today I'm going to be stuffing mine with boudin. So I've basically taken the boudin, sliced the casing off, and just took it out of the casing. So you want to make sure that these are really well thawed, because when they freeze them, most of them in water, and all the cavity on the inside will be full of ice if you don't thaw them all the way. So I typically take mine out the day before, put them in the refrigerator, and then like an hour before I start cooking, I go ahead and take them out and make sure they're really thawed. As you can see, it's a small bird, so there's not a very big cavity. These I've already pulled. You're looking at probably a cavity about that big. I like to put a thumb on the bottom, a thumb on the top. Now you have to be careful, because these birds are pretty delicate and you can rip the breast out just like a dove. And I just basically want to pull it, and you can just feel it give, and it stretches. And then that gives you something to put your stuffing in. The seasoning I'm going to be using today, I'm going to be using two. I have the knee-deep Cajun barbecue rub. And then a classic for me is one of our classic chefs here from Louisiana is Paul Prudhomme. Paul Prudhomme's Magic Barbecue seasoning. It's a really good seasoning I like. It's pretty classic. I'll start off by kind of seasoning these birds first, because you know when you go to stuffing them, you're gonna have stuffing all in them. You don't want to be flipping them and turning them around. And I may season them again, but you want to be sure you're putting plenty of seasoning on there, on this outside. Some people will use a little bit of oil or whatever for a binder. I typically don't, because these things are so wet and moist after you thaw them. Make sure you get plenty in that cavity. The dry rub seems to adhere to them pretty well, but you can do that. Like I said, I'm just showing you how I do it. You can do it any way you want to do it. You can use whatever seasoning you want to use. I just like this one. So I got this boudin already out. I'm going to add just a little bit of that barbecue seasoning to it, just a little bit, because it's pretty seasoned anyway. Put a little bit of this on there too. Trust me, you can't over season them. And you can see, man, I got them seasoned up pretty good. I added a little seasoning to this boudin as well. And then, like I said, man, you could use anything you wanted to put in them. I've seen people put a ground meat rice mixture. And all boudin really is, you know, pork and rice. And you're just going to stuff this in there as much as you can get in there. You're not going to overstuff it. I mean, pack it in there. Don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. If you are, get you some gloves like I got. Y'all don't tell my buddies y'all see me on here using gloves. They'll be talking bad about me. But there's really nothing to this. This is pretty simple. You know, and it wouldn't have to be a Cornish hen. If you can't find Cornish hens where you're at, or maybe you would just rather a bigger chicken. But I would suggest, if you're going to get one, make sure it's like a roaster or something like that. But it doesn't matter. Get them stuffed in as good as you can. This stuff will get pretty dense. I probably could have actually used one more stick of boudin, but that's pretty stuffed. I'll add a little bit more seasoning to them. Ooh, that's good, yeah. Hey, I ain't no Cajun, but I am from Louisiana. But anyway, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go put this on the grill. We'll let it go for an hour and probably check it. It's hard to say how long it's gonna take because everybody's grill is gonna be a little bit different. But you'll temp this, temp the inside of the stuffing, and temp the thickest part of the breast to kind of gauge where you're at. And you're looking for the same doneness as chicken. I use just one of these cheap thermometers here, and you know, it tells you on the back for poultry, and I don't have my glasses on, and I should know this, but let's see. Looks about like 167 you would be good with poultry. And like I said, this is just a little cheap thermometer I got. Works good, but you can find whatever you want to. But anyway, let me get these suckers on the grill. So I'm using a Pit Boss smoker slash grill. You can see it says 160 on there. That's because I opened it. But it's going to be running about 220, 225. Suckers good and smoked. And I'll just set them on there just like that. One other thing you can do is kind of tie these legs to bind them so they cook more even. A lot of times I'll just tuck them under like that. I ain't doing all that, but some people do. But anyway, they're on the grill. I'll check them in an hour. And after about an hour and 45 minutes, that's what we looking like. Cornish hens, stuffed with boudin. Easy to make. Give it a shot.